Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy, Corporate Commander TFW. And this week, I am joined by the man who is not a tugboat. It is Mikey G133. Hello, Mikey.
Hello, Tugger.
Did you know, Mikey, that the tugboat, for its size, is the most powerful craft afloat? And what was it? Oh, I can't remember the rest. Shit. The intro to Tugs is amazing. It's a man having sex with a saxophone.
I was thinking more Tugger from South Park, I have to admit.
No, Tugs.
Hello, Tugger.
No, you gotta love
Fighting
Tugs.
round the world.
Tugs was a better version of Thomas the Tank Engine. Done by the same team, apparently, but with a much higher budget.
Right. Did not know that.
No, neither did I. It's a pretty cool show, especially for the market it went for. But we're not here to talk about Tugs this week, believe it or not. We're here to talk about Transformers. Not that there's a lot. We did have fake SDCC going on this weekend.
Yeah, and very little came out of it because a lot of the big companies and big producers and movies and things pulled out.
Yes.
Which is a shame. I understand why, but it's a shame. And the panels that were held were in general quite small. Like IDW's one, they talked a bit about Lock and Key and did a very general, like, we have plans going forward.
When you say Lock and Key, you mean the Netflix show? Do you mean the comic?
Comic.
Okay, because I know they're doing a Netflix show or something.
Considering how that opens, I'm a little concerned. Lock and Key's opening is not happy.
No.
And it's one of those ones that's so well done, it's uncomfortable to read.
Mm-hmm. I have a feeling it might be, not neutered, but I think it'll be watered down a little bit, perhaps.
Maybe not the worst thing in the world.
Okay.
Maybe not the worst thing. But like for the Transformers side of the thing, it's a very general, like, we're going to be doing more books. We appreciate all the fans, yada, yada, yada. I mean, John's there, and he's always, it's just nice to listen to John, but nothing really came out of it.
Did you see the Star Trek stuff?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
What? Oh, no. What?
It was just really, really sad watching the Picard panel and them all talk. And what's the name? Deanna Troy's actress.
Yeah,
Serena Sirtis?
Marina Sirtis?
Marina Sirtis, something like that.
It's something a little unusual, her name. Yeah,
she came across as very loud and please look at me kind of person. Which is not my cup of tea, So it's a bit cringy. Their announcement was the name for the show, the cartoon that's going to be going on Nickelodeon. Not Lower Decks. There's another one.
There's a cartoon going on Nickelodeon?
Apparently, yeah. It's called Star Trek Prodigy, I think it was called.
Never heard of it.
No. Yeah. But it did not fill me with hope.
When they were talking about Picard, what was the general...
It seemed very self-congratulatory. Like everyone was very happy that they'd worked on the show and they were looking forward to season 2 and everything like that.
I suppose they can't really say we liked it or loved it or loathed it,
Well, they can say they liked it. They just can't say they didn't like it.
It's not John Boyega who's at the end of the contract and is just like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done pretending I enjoyed this.
It's why I always kind of look at when people who work on a project or work in a company say things about a product, and people are like, oh, well, they're clearly fans. It's like, well, they might be a fan of the product, but if they had any reservations towards it, they can't say that they don't like it because they're employed or they're under contract or something. So they can be truthful to a point.
It's like when Peter Cullen in the early days, people were going like, well, Peter Cullen always says very positive things about the movies. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
He's not exactly going to turn around and say, I thought it was shit.
Yeah, exactly. Especially with the money he was getting from it. Jeez.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of it, he'd taken it to a point where he was just kind of openly dissatisfied. But
yeah.
But even then, he was very professional about it. But
yeah.
And like Rooster Teeth did something where they showed a very quick clip. They kind of built this up. So the Rooster Teeth panel went on, and like they've got new shows and new season Ruby and blah blah. But then they said like, "Oh, FJ DeSanto, we've got a clip from the show in showing our cameo of Cliffjumper in the series, right?
Okay.
And it was Cliffjumper, I'm assuming, on a screen telling Elita 1 that they're under attack, and she goes, right, we're going to have a big exodus. Except the way they built it up didn't really pay off, because he said, we've got Cliffjumper in the show, and one of the people on staff started clapping. But I think it might have, because I think it was one of the voice actresses.
Right.
You know, the Ruby Stable kind of guys. And she gave that face of, ooh, Cliffjumper, I remember him, or I like him, or whatever.
Yeah.
And what came on screen was a slightly off-color Bumblebee you couldn't really hear.
Oh.
Like, the model is Bumblebee's, but a little bit of a different color. Like, it might have been red, or that might have just been tint on the screen. I couldn't tell.
So, I mean, either way, it's like, it's a very, very, very minor role. A very minor appearance, to the point of why even bother mentioning it, kind of thing.
Yeah, he had a bigger role in Unicron, I suspect.
Oh, dear. Okay.
Nothing bad happened. Apparently, there was some really good stuff for that Winona Earp show people like.
The what?
Winona Earp. It was a IDW's, the parent company.
Right.
Is in charge of it, and it's got a big fandom behind it, and it got cancelled once, and now it's coming back, I think. Don't quote me on any of that, but I remember there was a time when, like, people were, like, really going at IDW for not supporting it.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I remember that, but it's gone well. Also, David Mariotti's been retweeting hentai artists.
Okay.
Is
that bad?
Who seem lovely, but I'm just like, I mean, is it allowed for comic book editors to do that?
Why wouldn't it be?
I don't know. Like, if you did that, if I did that, and I was like working somewhere, there was like, how does that reflect us?
I suppose it depends on the position in the company that he holds.
Yeah.
And, like how much do IDW care about what people say online? Because some companies do care about it.
Oh yeah.
Some
Marvel,
companies aggressively do. Some don't.
I think if a Marvel editor was doing it, it wouldn't go down well.
Perhaps not. Maybe it depends what the hentai was of, I guess. You know.
But yeah, it's a weird. It was a weird non-event for something that's been built up as much as it has been.
Yeah,
because it was really built up.
I'm wondering if this will be reflected by the other online events that are going to be happening. Because if this is the biggest one, or one of the bigger ones, like, how is that going to trickle down to the much smaller ones? I suppose, like, for the smaller conventions, any kind of notice will be good, or any kind of viewership will be good regardless, just because it's a small convention. And if you can get maybe like 10% of what they'd get actually coming to the convention, that's probably a plus, if they can even get 10%. I don't know.
I don't know. Like, I will say there were other, like, like, a lot of, like, discussion panels and stuff like that were going on. Right. I watched a couple of those, and some of them were fairly interesting. Like, in sort of general trends in the comic. Like, I will say, this was the first Comic-Con in years that was about comics.
Hey, what a nice change.
Yeah, but, so if you were into that kind of side of things, and like, Boom Studios brought out a little bit of extra news about their upcoming comics for Power Rangers and stuff like that. But
I bet that interested you at least.
I've got to catch up on the new stuff. I haven't.
How far are you behind?
About 10, 12 issues.
Oh, that's not too far.
No. It's easy enough once I just sit down and do it. Because I've read a little bit of the changeover into the sort of the mid-season 2 cast.
Right.
Because, like, I know they've brought, like, Tommy, or Jason, Zach, and Trini are still Rangers, but they've got new power set. But I haven't really read it. But they've announced that there's the current run's ending, and there's a soft reboot going on where there's 2 books, Mighty Morphing and Power Rangers. And one is Power Rangers is going to be about Zach, Jason, and Trini's team. And Mighty Morphing will be about the Earth Rangers, including a new Green Ranger with a redesigned helmet. Okay. Who everyone's putting money down is going to be Draken. Which I'm curious about.
Right.
So, but I kind of hope it's not, just because I don't think you need 2 Tommies in a team.
You want it mixed up a bit.
Yeah, like, I like Draken a lot, but, you know, you don't need 2 of it. Like, having, especially since like he's like in his 40s or 50s or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, but they did announce the Lightning Collection Evolution 3 version of his suit, so I'm super into that. Which is the black version with the cape.
Okay, that one. Yeah, I think I've seen pictures of that floating around.
Yeah. Anyway, like just like I wasn't expecting a lot out of it once I heard all the big stuff was pulling out, but it would have been nice to get a little bit.
Something. I suppose technically with Transformers we had those sorta reveals last week with the
with fans
the
first.
store exclusives and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know about you, but I was hoping to see some new toys, some new molds.
Yeah,
at least.
I wanted to hear something about Kingdom. I'd want because they've got the information now, but I'm supposing they're holding out for the next Toy Fair now.
I guess, yeah.
Which will be a virtual Toy Fair as well.
Uh,
And I wanted to know what the story was with the comics going forward because they've confirmed that Galaxies is ending in issue 12.
Oh, okay.
Which I think is a big shame because I think that's the best book they've got going at the moment. But they've just said, "Oh, we've got plans." Like some people said, "Oh, Kingdom will get a Beast Wars story," and I'm just like, "Please don't start chasing the toys." Like, at least like whatever you're going to say about the comics at the moment, they're not narratively chasing the toys too much.
No, not yet.
So I would rather you didn't. But yeah, that was it. Really, it's not much else to say about it.
Not really. So news-wise, at least for Transformers, because like you say, there's SDCC was kind of a bust for the most part. We're kicking off with Shockwave's Labs, the SL81 energy sword for Siege Jetfire. I won't say that this is a desperately exciting release.
No, I don't know what the context of this is.
It's apparently from the War for Cybertron trailer. He does this in the trailer.
There's a scene in one of them where he attacks a Seeker, but I don't know if it was with a big laser sword.
Maybe it's in one of the ones that neither you nor I have seen. I can't like it says in the story that it's inspired by that, so I can't imagine like they would make it because otherwise there's nothing else that would like justify him having
lies.
A laser sword.
Oh, there was a Zim panel. I forgot to check the Zim panel.
What, Invader Zim? Really?
Yeah,
okay.
I forgot to check that. I meant to, but I completely forgot to now. When I said lies, it made me think of it.
I'm sure. Unfortunately, I think if anything new for Zim had been announced, we would have heard about it on the web.
Yeah, but you never know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Unfortunately. So yeah, if you just want to stuff a big, like, clear, translucent blue laser sword onto Skyfire's or Jet. What's it?
Sky Jet.
Yeah, if you want to shove that onto his forearm, you can do. It can go on his backpack as well, which doesn't really work, but yeah.
Yep.
Hey, maybe this will do a bit more gangbusters and be cooler in context with the show. I'd be surprised, but maybe it'll have some more oomph and impact to it when that happens. I would ask your opinion, Mikey, on it, but it is literally a blue piece of plastic in the shape of the sword. So, I mean, what is there to say, you know? There's no info on release date or price for it, so, you know, who knows? Who knows what that's going to be. Mikey!
Yes.
The only kind of releases that we got this week were from Flametoys, weren't they?
Yeah, Flametoys apparently took the approach of, if you're not having a con, we will. And through the week, we're sort of drip feeding us information. So on their Twitter, we got a bunch of stuff revealed, and then they had images from the Flametoys exhibit at the store Sentaiden in Mongkok, Hong Kong, which had some more updates. So first off, we have new images of the Flametoys Kurakarakuri, the Fallen. So this is the remold of the Tarn figure into a Dreamwave-esque, but not Dreamwave accurate Fallen, coming with flame pieces, a new head, and just sort of a general general retooling of a lot of the more extraneous Tarn bits. The head is a little primey for my tastes.
Yeah, I could see that, because his head didn't look like that from the... at least the Dreamwave comics, did it?
Yeah, it was more or less sort of a grill, but
Yeah, it was very squared off, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah,
like
I get
that.
why, but I think this this is not what I'd call bad, but just because it's it being the Fallen, I'd call it unexciting.
Yeah, just because it is the Fallen, you mean?
Yeah, like I think it'll probably be a toy that beats every other toy to death with its own, with like, you know, with a finger. But
Okay, yeah.
because it's Flametoys and they're fucking awesome. But I knew I had a Thundercracker in my bin today, on a cart today.
Oh, for a model kit, you mean?
Yeah, and I was just looking, and I was going to pre-order the Optimus, the G1 Optimus, and I was just like, I need to sell stuff on eBay before I do this, but I want to do this. Because the Thundercracker, I want to go mold complete at least on Flametoys in the long range, and if I'm going to get a Seeker, I'm going to get Thundercracker.
Sure.
One thing, no 4-eyes announced in this, or 4-eye model kits, which I was like, eh.
Yeah, that's a shame.
A couple of figures we thought were going to be 4-eye model kits aren't, which we'll get into. But
yeah,
we
I'd
also had
say that's a shame as well, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if there might be a model kit version of them. But
like maybe simplified or something.
What I suspect is basically there's a new line for Action where the first figure was the repainted IDW model kit, the IDW Prime.
Yes.
And now the next couple of figures announced and revealed here are going to be let out in that line. I suspect they were probably originally model kits.
Could be right, actually, yeah.
But hey ho, Flametoys. I don't care. They're just awesome. We also have preview images for a Kurakara Curry figure. Which, who could it be, Andy? Who could this mysterious silhouetted figure be?
Looking like some sort of jet.
With rays on their arms.
Yes, and very distinct Cybertronian pointy bits on his back. I think it's safe to assume it might be... Oh, Jesus. Fucking Jesus. That'll probably be a War for Cybertron-styled Starscream of some description.
Or some kind of hyper-stylized, snarky Jetman.
Yeah, at the very least, it's a Seeker. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah. We also got to see the physical prototype of the repaint of Starsaber, who looks really good.
Yeah.
There's if you deny that, you're a bad person. Then, so this is one of the major reveals. We got the 4-eye Action Optimus Primal.
Monkey.
This is a funky monkey. So yeah, this is a in scale with the model kits figure. Original take on Primal.
Is it original? Because it looks kind of derivative of some of the other things that we've seen from like third parties.
Similar, it looks similar, but I think that's just kind of
how it has to be.
Yeah, because I've seen those ones I've checked, and this is definitely an original design.
Yeah, it's probably harsh for me to say derivative, just because of like how Optimus Prime's G1 at least kind of flop into that category as well.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a sort of animated up Optimus Primal. Big guns, fully articulated fingers, big back cannons. I think he looks really good.
It doesn't come with a banana though, so
doesn't come with a banana. Worst toy ever made.
Fact.
And like, if assuming the price stays about the same as the Prime, you're looking about 50-60 for this.
You know what we won't get from Kingdom, I'm assuming? Probably something that looks like this.
No.
Which is my concern, because this is kind of the direction they probably should move in.
Are you suggesting, Andy, that I buy this instead of a Kingdom Optimus Primal?
I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying if it happens to fall out of the postman's hands into your lap, what can you do?
What can you do?
Do?
I want to buy the Hasbro one. Oh no, the Flametoys fell on me.
Oh no, it's £50 in Smiths. Sorry, 50 euros. 50 euros.
50, no.
60 euros. 60?
Yeah, by the time it comes out, the second thing will probably be 100. But, yeah. What do you think of him, Andy?
Of the Primal, yeah. I would have liked maybe a few more shots of him, because it seems like we have a few more. We have if you scroll down, have a look. Do we see him with the swords?
No,
yes.
but he does have the sword accessory. It's confirmed.
Yeah, we see him with the swords. They're just kind of on the ground next to him. I have to assume he'll come with some extra hands then, so he can hold them. The swords don't look great. They're a bit too big at the top, I suppose.
To be fair, that's Primal swords.
No, you're quite right. But I think they've exaggerated the proportions of them, so they go from a slim blade to a really fat point. Like it gets wider as it goes up, which doesn't look great. But the actual figure itself looks really good. I'm very impressed. I like the paint. Because there seems to be slightly different shades of silver on him. So his chest silver or grey, which is more, I guess, gunmetal-y, is different from the shoulder like bands, I guess. That go back to that attached to his guns. He's good. Good proportions. Good. I'm not sure how well this would turn into a big fluffy monkey, but it's got a presence to it which I like.
We also got our first look at the painted prototype of Victory Leo. So this is the non-transforming lion mode Victory Leo, who will combine with the Star Saber to form Victory Saber.
This is a prototype paint job, though, isn't it? Because it looks very prototypey.
It looks extremely, extremely prototypey.
Yeah.
One thing I wasn't expecting is those cannons on his back. Holy crap!
The entire wings as well. That's massive. I mean, I think it's fair to say that that'll probably just be a thing you pull off, won't it?
Yeah, no, because that goes. I believe that'll just go on Victory Saber's back, won't it?
Yeah, it'll probably be a few pegs or something.
Presumably, you will have the option of making this like land Victory Leo.
Oh yeah, which I don't know. You could never do that with the original toy. It wasn't possible.
It looks insane.
Yeah.
But the right kind of insane.
Yeah, it matches up next to the Star Saber, which they've got side by side pictures of. So it's not like the detail and the design aesthetic kind of clash against each other. It works.
I mean, I saw someone complaining about a Victory Leo that you get in lion mode that doesn't transform, and I was just like, "Oh my god, why are you alive?"
Oh, does it not transform into Victory Leo?
No, it transforms into armor for Star Saber.
Like I can see why someone might be disappointed, because if you're getting this, you kind of do expect it to be able to do all three things, but I get why it can't.
Yeah, and if you're buying it from this line, like the fact it becomes armor alone is kind of going out there for this line, you know?
Yeah, agreed. But to be fair, I can see why someone might be. I wouldn't say it's something you should get like super mad at, but I can see why someone would be like, "Oh man, that's a shame," you know?
The next one is the Furai Action Leo Prime, or Leo Convoy, depending on what part of the localization you want to go with, who is an highly stylized action figure designed by...
Action Master.
Don't make me hit you. Who is designed by the fella behind Gridman's design aesthetic.
Which Gridman?
Our Gridman.
Oh, SSSSS. Oh, I can see that.
He's the guy responsible for the whole shtick.
Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, so it feels it.
Yeah, so another Trigger fella on...
those awful Trigger people.
Those bastards.
Making us want things and loving their animes. Damn them. Did you know that Trigger's doing a tie-in anime to Cyberpunk?
I heard about it. I don't know. I hadn't known about it, but I heard about it this week. So
yeah, I had zero interest in Cyberpunk, mainly because they just know. I've seen how the gameplay plays, and I'm like, nope, no, thank you.
I haven't seen anything about it beyond Keanu Reeves.
It looks like it's like similar, very like broad description, similar to how Deus Ex would maybe run. And I'm not a fan of those kind of games myself. But then I hear Trigger's doing an anime tie-in for it. I'm like, ooh, I'll watch the anime. I'll watch the shit out of that. Come on, Trigger.
Yeah. This is a highly, highly stylized Leo Convoy who appears to have Gao Gaigar's hair.
Behind him. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the lion head's been redone into kind of a giant buckler. He's got a giant bike going by my window. He's got a big cape going down one side. The lion backside sort of been redone into a shoulder cape, like a mantle. He comes with a sort of big chonky sword. I dig him. Like, he's nuts, and for posability's sake, I kind of hope those shoulder bits are either movable or removable. But
yeah, they'll probably be done like a Gundam model kit, I would think, and be like on pegs or something, so you can swivel and twizzle them. They have to be. Overall,
I quite dig this.
I do have a minor concern, and it's you could say maybe it's picky. The cape. I hope it's like not even plastic, like a really thin, flexy material rather than just solid plastic.
Yeah, no, if it's just solid plastic, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, because then otherwise, if you want to use that arm at all, you're going to have to remove the shoulder pad or remove the cape that's attached to the shoulder pad, or however that works. You'll need to take the cape off.
Yeah.
Design looks really good, though. I think it's ace. Again, it's a really good update because, like you say, it's taken the things that are usually massive detriments to the Lio Convoy aesthetic, which are the lion head and the lion bottom, basically, and they've done something interesting with it.
Big Convoy still to come. They've confirmed he's going to be out as well. So
that could be interesting, especially if they give it to another person who does a design not the same as this.
I think it's Akira Memia. No, it is Akira Memia, the head of Trigger.
Oh, is he going to be doing Big Convoy as well then?
I think he's doing Big Convoy because he's from his desk where he can't move half an inch without knocking over a transformer.
Yay!
But I love the idea that in 2020, 2021, we're going to have the opportunity to have a complete Japanese Beast Wars leader collection out of this. Like the three convoys.
Yeah.
In an aesthetic that matches, which God love the Beast Wars Neo and Second toys. Their aesthetic did not match.
Well, they're animals, so that was a connecting aesthetic.
What about Lio Convoy's face?
What about his face?
His incredibly anime face on his lion mode.
Yeah.
Like everyone else has got kind of a vaguely animal-esque look, and then you just cut to Lio Convoy.
Are we talking about toys, or are we talking about... Yeah, well, they were trying to go for the aesthetic of the show. And then I think with Beast Wars Neo, they probably looked and went, okay,
it's a mammoth.
we can't really do this, lads. Let's just make them look like normal animals.
Next up, we have a prototype image of a Kurakakuri IDW Rodimus Prime. So this is the IDW design with basically they've bumped up the wings and changed the proportions around a bit.
Massively bumped up the wings.
Yeah, apparently they do slide. Someone told me, but I don't know if that's been confirmed.
Okay, well, you mean they slide in so that you can reduce them, or do you mean they can slide out and make them even bigger?
Bigger! But to be fair, I was thinking, like, when I was looking at this, if Mord Meets the Eye had gone on any longer, he would have pulled this.
You know, if you put this in silhouette, Mikey, and you put null ray like things on his forearms, I'm just saying, I'm throwing it out here.
Oh man, that would be if they retooled this into the Seeker, I would throw money at them for hilarity's sake. But yeah, if you're digging, a lot of people do dig that Rodimus.
They does.
Not my favorite design from the series, I have to admit.
No.
But I do like the design. Sorry, Nick, but it's just not my baby. But I think it looks like a really good rendition of it.
Yeah, for what they're going for, it works.
Not as stylized as like the IDW Megatron, but
no, I think you're right actually. Yeah, apart from with the wings.
Yeah, the IDW Megatron just sort of went like Macross on us. Which by the way, God, they had new pictures of that as well, and we're just like, oh, that looks so good.
I wonder what the decision making is to keep them closer to their design aesthetic versus, just kind of go nuts with them. Maybe it just depends on the designer they're giving it to, and maybe it's up to them how close they want to keep it versus just like, as long as it's sort of the same, whatever. Maybe there's a lot of freedom. Maybe there's not. Maybe it's a Hasbro mandate. I have no idea. I'd be interested to know, though.
No, I'd be really interested, because some, like the Prime, they go wild. They basically merged every version of Optimus into one figure. And others, it's like, here's a design you're already familiar with, tweet. Like Tarn is it's not quite right, but Tarn is basically what if Trigger designed Tarn.
Oh, I would have said, what if Tarn went to the gym a lot?
Oh, the reissue of him is coming out as well, and I'm just like, God damn you, money.
You gotta sell more stuff, man.
I don't have enough left to sell. I was looking, man. I was just like, I mean, do I really need a signed Masterpiece Grimlock?
Oh, damn.
Yes, I'm keeping him. Matt, calm down. I'm keeping him. But, Yeah, the only other thing that was seen on the show was the clear IDW Optimus kit, which was originally intended to be an SDCC exclusive, but is now just going to be an online thing. Yeah. By far the least exciting thing they've ever done, but it's not their fault.
It's kind of a stock thing for companies to do, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. They on Twitter, though, they revealed a couple other things. We had promo art for the Jet Power. What is it? The God Power Jet Armor.
Oh my god!
This is a massive upgrade kit for their Karakuri Optimus Prime, who, as I said, is a merger of basically every Optimus Prime, to turn him into, I don't know, what if 80s anime designed Revenge of the Fallen Jet Optimus Prime? Yeah,
pretty much. That's kind of how it comes across.
Like, it's hard to, because this is just a line drawing, so it's not the clearest image in the world, but Jesus, it's huge.
Yeah, like, because that toy's not small on its own either, is
No,
it?
it's not.
Yeah, so the wingspan on this is, have big space on your shelf if you're going to get this, I would say.
The technical term you're looking for is chonky.
Chonky, yes, I'll go with that.
But we also had an image there of Gao Gaigar, or Victory Saber, if you want to call him that. But we all know what they're trying to emulate here.
Yes, all combined as well. Yeah. Oh man, yeah. You look at the wing and you see how they're open. That's Genesis shit right there.
Yeah, and the big clawed feet, and yeah.
If you wanted to, you could say that the wings are more akin to what's it called from Gundam? The
Destiny?
The Destiny Gundam, because it has those little red pointy out bits where the big energy wings would come from.
Yeah. But no, it's very good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like it's really a burp died in my mouth.
It died.
It didn't come out. It was just, but no, that looks super neat. And for me, that's the best one of these. We have a design for a Karakuri Jazz, which also made me say, "Holy crap, a Jazz toy! It's been ages."
Yeah, Jazz toy that looks pretty good.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. I love the design. I think it looks awesome.
It is just a sketch, though, obviously.
Yep.
So there is that to it. But I think it's fair to say that they're fairly good at transitioning sketches to practical figures.
Yeah.
So I think it'll look nice and fancy like this.
Very much so. But it's a really neat design. They've given him a sort of sniper shoulder cannon. They've kind of he's still got the carrot chest, but they've reduced it to make it more like pecs.
Yeah.
Which is no bad thing. No, I really like him. He looks really good.
I do have maybe a mild concern, and that would be that if they wanted to, with not much tweaking, they might or could turn this into like what they call the Datsuns.
Yeah, but
which I wouldn't be in for, mainly because like remolds and whatnot. And it's like
yeah.
At the moment, it's like, hey, the Datsuns, we've seen them for the past since Combiner Wars. It feels like every time I'm like, go to bed, Datsuns. You're bored.
They're in your eye. They're just floating around your head. But do you sometimes sit there screaming? Oh God, what? Blue streak and silver streak.
Oh no, to be fair, I just
and blue streak.
I usually sit here screaming, but not specifically about Datsuns. Lots of other things.
Night terrors, man.
I am
Cobras!
I am the screamer pillar. I relate to that poor little creature.
But yeah, that was Flametoys.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad at all.
Some pretty interesting looking things coming from them.
I wish we'd seen a bit more of the model kits, but
yeah,
hey, like at least we got something in the affordable range, which is the action figures. So I'm super into those.
What was the last model kit that they released?
The last model kit they released is the G1 Optimus, which came out last month or the month before.
Oh, okay, so it's still pretty.
Oh yeah, because it was
recent.
Devastator, and then
of course, yeah. But we don't. Do we know what's in the near future? Is that kind of the thing that's floaty?
So originally, we all thought the Optimus, the Lio. In fact, I'm almost certain the Optimus, the Lio, and the Big were all marketed as model kits.
Yeah, I think we reported on that, didn't we?
The only thing that we've seen anything of that we don't know what story is the Windblade.
Okay. Oh yeah, we haven't heard about that for a while, have we?
Yeah, but whatever happens with her, I am super hoping for more model kits because I've built 3 or 4 now, and they are so good.
Yeah,
they are so high quality, so good. Yeah, because do you think before Devastator it was Drift, a scaled down Drift?
Maybe.
Yeah, because if they wanted to do like a scaled down Tarn as well, I think that'd be awesome. But I want to pick up that Drift, but I keep forgetting he exists.
Is that your disdain for Drift coming through?
Oh yes, my utter despise Drift. Hate him. I can't think of anything clever to say there, but hate him. But anyway, Andy, take us on to some 3-0.
Yeah, it's a color variation of the 30 DLX Blitzwing figure. We saw this figure originally in its movie colors. Now these are the G1 inspired colors. I wouldn't say that's a huge amount really to say here, apart from it's G1 colored Blitzwing. They're just the movie mold, who I think looks a lot better.
Do you think that people should be throwing their current G1 30 Blitzwings in the bin?
You mean the movie accurate version?
Yeah, should he be going in the bin now?
Maybe.
I mean, this
is that like you're making
this
the
one they want.
You're making this joke, but I don't know if this is an actual thing. Is this an actual thing, or is this just you mockingly assuming?
I'm mocking. I haven't looked into it.
Okay, because we're in the day and age where it could be true, where that was the case.
Yep.
I do think this looks a lot more striking. It looks a lot more visually interesting than the movie colored one, because they went for real colors, and this is just hey, these are the colors that nothing's ever painted in. Ever.
No jet in the world has ever been purple or yellow.
Purple and beige and
yellow.
Oh yeah, his little yellow hat, I suppose. Yeah, that's true. What do you think, Mikey? Do you prefer this visually?
I mean, honestly, I'm surprised by how well it comes off.
Yeah, it does actually.
Because I didn't expect it when I heard about this. I didn't expect it to work as well. But it does.
I think they've done some cheeky color placement where if you did try and transform this, the colors probably would end up in places that wouldn't work.
Yeah, if this was a transforming figure, I suspect you'd be in a very different bottle of biscuits. But
bottle of biscuits.
But they've also confirmed there's a shattered glass Bumblebee Optimus as well now. Did you see that?
No, I didn't actually. No, is this Akane colors? Is it?
Yep. So fortunately, the way I look at Shattered Glass Optimus is that you need an Akane to go with it. Like if I got a Flametoys one, I'd have to get the Figma Akane.
Right.
But there's no hyper realistic Akane figure, so I don't have to worry about that.
Not yet. I mean, you could just get like a picture of a really good cosplayer, because I'm sure there's enough of them, and put it next to
kidnap
them.
that actress who played her.
I mean, that's a lot more involved and a lot more harder with COVID going on at the moment. It's not like you can just fly to Japan.
Plus, her face is vague enough, and you have to watch. What I mean is, you'd have to have watched the music video to know what she looks like.
Yes.
Did you know, obviously there's a manga, or it's like a novel. There's a novel, I think, for Gridman. It's like a sequel novel with Black Akane. Have you heard of this?
No.
So Black Akane is... I only found this out during the week. Black Akane is a black-haired, probably kaiju version of Akane who showed up after R1 left.
Oh, okay.
And they're all a little gun-shy of her.
Right.
But she seems to just be an Akane. But there's very limited information if you're not reading the books.
Right. I assume this is all just kind of nonsense, because I can't imagine stuff like this is going to transfer over to the new Gridman show. Yeah,
I mean, I would be surprised if, without explanation, a black-haired version of the main villain from the last show was just part of a background group.
Yeah, it could be the case. They could just use one of those big crowd shots and just plop her in there.
Yeah, I will fight someone if Grid Knight doesn't show up.
Oh, don't fight Trigger Mikey. They'll win.
I know, because they'll be like, we're not using it this time. Just like, I want to hit you. No, you don't. No, I don't. You're lovely. You're beautiful.
So we have that. I may as well take a few of these other kind of quickie stories. We get the first look at those Funko Pops, not pop vinyls. Funko Pops that we talked about last week. We had silhouettes. The silhouettes were of the movie ones, which are already out. And now we have images of what these two are, and it's G1, Optimus Prime, and Bumblebee, who surprised nobody. They have taller bodies. That's
they do,
new.
But I mean,
Bumblebee's
they're kind of
terrifying,
they're kind of showing the limits of the Funko design aesthetic here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because they basically had to be like they don't use the Funko body; they had to be completely redesigned.
Though you say that, if you look at the other ones that they're showing, the Retro Toys Wave 2, it looks like they all have slightly more unique bodies and poses.
Yeah, there is that. So these may be the better. Also, the Furby, man, no. That Furby and Mrs. Potato Head are feckin' terrifying.
I think the Pobbles looks way scarier. I don't know. Pobbles is also just a bad word. I reckon you should get your niece to Pobble.
I want to know when Mr. Monopoly ended up in prison. Was it for tax evasion?
Of course it was.
Because like the amount of money he was getting together.
It was either that or money laundering.
Oh my, Bumblebee's face is just horrifying.
Yeah, it's the most like kill me expression I've seen in a while.
But it's the fact I've squished his faces.
Yeah, because like the eyes are like almost right next to his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if we, I don't think many Funko Pops have mouths. So because I've put it on Bumblebee, you just kind of look at it and go, "Wow, it's so close to his mouth, almost on the same level." Imagine you put your eyes next to your mouth.
Yeah, Optimus, they just look like they pushed down on the axis a bit.
Yeah, he's just a bit squished, really, head-wise.
But Bumblebee is just nightmare fuel.
A little bit. There's also Clue, but you know. I don't know. I don't know who's rushing to buy. I don't know who's rushing to buy Funko Pops, but specifically Clue ones.
I don't know. I mean, I enjoy Clue the game.
It's all right.
I had fun in it with we had a New Year's game party once.
Oh wow!
Which is basically just up until 3 o'clock playing board games. I kicked so much ass. It was hilarious. One of the guys there still is. Every time I see him, he says he's not over it.
Wow,
it's great.
You destroyed him. You anime destroyed him.
Yeah, it's been about 4 years. I've seen him plenty over the years, and he's just like, man, like you'll just be sitting there. He'll be sitting there with a beer or something like that, and every now and then he'll just look over and just like, we're gonna have to redo that game, man. I can't. No, I mean, I've got to get back at you.
Does he wake up in the middle of the night sweating?
Do you know what makes it worse? I don't really remember the game very well because it was like. Okay, I brought this.
Tuesday?
It was some kind of medieval semi-Monopoly thing. And I'd never played it. He'd been playing for a few years and said he was really good at it and loved it.
Oh, no, that's why you broke it, Mikey.
I was just like, I have to also admit, I was not the most gracious of winners.
You shock me.
I did not approach it with like fair game, good game. I may have used the term noob, which being used by an adult is such a hilarious thing.
Yes, well, adults. I mean, let's
adults who at the rest of the night played video games and watched cartoons.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong to do so. I'm just saying using the adult term for us is rough.
I like to think that we are the most adult because we can accept that we are childish mad people.
We are more adult than the real adults.
Yeah, everyone else is lying to themselves. Oh, look at me. I'm not a nerd. How much sports memorabilia do you own? I'm not a nerd.
Exactly.
You own a lot of sports memorabilia.
Nerd.
Going into like American football campuses, just finding all those guys with all their trophies. Fucking nerds.
Sports nerds. Oh.
Oh man, we need to do that. We need to like find a situation where you can just like a small gang of us wander into like socially acceptable areas and just go like, "Hey, sports nerds, lame."
I have a feeling that would turn
walk
out
off really
badly.
prominently waving a comic or a toy.
I think it'd be run quickly away.
Using
the toys and comics as distraction devices.
No. The slowest one will be taken first.
That could work too.
No.
Just make
Bye,
sure
Matt.
you're not the slowest.
Sadly, Matt, I will sacrifice you.
That's fair. In other kind of releases, Earthrise Double Dealer is out in the UK. To be honest, thought he already had came out. Is going for in Smiths for $46.99, at least UK price. I don't know what that is, Mikey land wise.
That will be about 55.
Okay, he's a leader.
Yes, but I don't
he's
know.
in a leader box.
I don't know how big he is.
I'm pretty well
Because he doesn't come with anything extra, does he?
No, I'm looking at him in the box, and I'm like, yeah, I think he's a Voyager. But we've talked about that before. Like, if Double Dealer was like 20, I'd maybe be tempted just to add him to my my guys, for the Master Force crew, which is why I wouldn't say no to the Piranacon.
Yeah,
but otherwise, no, I'm all right. The other bit of news is Generation Select Rotorstorm, Grease Pit, and Hubcap as EB Games and Zing exclude. Zing? Wow, that's a thing still in Australia. Okay. Zing died here. So yeah, they'll be coming to Australia. Each figure is listed for $40 Australian dollars, which is apparently $28.46 American dollars, with a $10 Australian deposit of $7 American. It's the deposit if you want to pre-order this guy. So that's good. It seems like there's going to be a way for at least Australia to get these 3 figures, which is good. No info on the UK, but I think those of us who live in the UK can say that they're not shocked by this.
Yes,
I am
might
tickled.
show up at GameStop, but
I am tickled that the image that the guys use on TFW use for the story is the old Generation Select version of Rotorstorm with the wrong head. Never mind, I suppose. Mikey, do you want to take us on to the last bit of news, which some could consider shitty news, and I would agree.
Yeah. We've got actually a couple of little news stories, and I'll handle them all really. But the first one is the saddest, in my opinion. I think some people have been saying this was inevitable. I think unfortunately this is a result of the dreaded COVID. But yeah, it's been confirmed that the Transformers trading card game is done. It is finito. The Titan Master Attack Wave 5 was the last wave. There was an official press release over on the TCG website, and it's gone round a bit on various entertainment websites as well. The official statement is, we are informing our players and retailers so they can make the best decisions regarding event participation and product ordering. The Transformers TCG wishes to recognize the tremendous efforts that fans and retailers put into building a great community. The Transformers TCG was a labor of love for the Wizards team, and we saw that enthusiasm and love echoed by players across the world, says Drew Nolosko, Wizards of the Coast Global Brand Manager. We are grateful to our fans, content creators, retailers, and distributors for the enthusiasm they brought to the game. The greater Transformers TCG fan community is perhaps the best TCG community I've had the privilege of working with, till all are one. Drew is the guy who has been doing the shows over on WTF.
Yeah.
And he seems really cool. In all honesty, he seems like a really neat guy.
Yeah.
And the amount he reached out to the fans is phenomenal to me. But yeah, I think, like I said, a lot of people have kind of been treating this as, it was inevitable, really, wasn't it? From what I understand, at the start of the year, the TCG was doing fairly well.
Yeah, I heard it was just going strength to strength for the most part.
It was starting to appear in major conventions.
Oh, really? Okay.
And stuff like that. It was doing well. However, I suspect that when you're in a situation where most of your player base is stuck in a home and can't play with anyone and can't go to the shops and everything else, card games start to die off, and the ones that start to die off are the ones that don't have, like, Magic the Gathering is going to be fine, Pokemon is going to be fine.
Yeah.
The smaller ones, the starter ones and everything else, are the franchise-based ones. They are going to be the ones to suffer. I'd be very curious to see how the Final Fantasy VII one is doing at the moment.
There's a Final Fantasy card game?
Specifically 7, I believe.
Which version? Game or the newer game?
Just 7. I've never looked into it.
Okay.
But yeah, I think basically without people going to because people weren't going to the shops, they weren't communicating, they were just sitting at home, stocking up on what they had.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, in February, the last show I think I know of that WTF did, the guy was like so enthused and definitely gave the feeling to me that there were stuff coming down the pipeline.
Man, that sucks.
I think it's really sad because apart from everything else, it seemed to be a very well thought out game. Way better than everything else that usually gets out on this franchise side of things. Way better than the mobile game tie-ins we were getting. It had some great artwork. When I've watched enough games to know there were really interesting gameplay mechanics. I think it's a real disappointment that probably one of the series I can think of, because occasionally I dip into looking into what card games are out there. This had a lot of potential, and it was starting to realize that potential, and I just think it was a victim of current events.
Yeah,
and I think that's sad.
Yeah, it's a bummer, especially since, like you say, it was doing so well. And the community was fairly happy with it. But yeah, like you say, if they're gonna get rid of something, it's probably gonna be the thing that makes them the least money. And like you say, the franchise stuff, or maybe not even the franchise stuff, because Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast are all the same thing. So it's not like they have to pay extra costs. It's probably just the thing that makes the least money gets axed first. And then it just kind of works up from there. Which is a bummer, but yeah, what can you do? It'll probably not come back even when things tidy up, because that's not how things work, unfortunately. It'll die out. It's done. Yeah. It's sad, but it's done. The next bit of news was BotCon 2021, the I'm going to emphasize this, fan-run convention. Yeah, it's not official anymore. Not official, fan-run. I still see it going on and people getting... This is not the same BotCon, please accept that. We don't know what it is, to be fair now. It's like every other FanCon, to be honest. To be honest, I think it's Pete's Robot Convention renamed. More than likely, because we haven't... I don't think we've had a proper... whatever this BotCon is happen yet. So no. we don't really know how it would have worked. And with COVID happening, we're definitely not finding out this year. But over on Kickstarter, a fella named Bob Valla, who used to work for Hasbro, started a new toy line called Action Force. The website for it is valaverse.com. VALA-verse.com. So it's sort of what is it? 4 3/4 inch? Is that it? For what? Sorry. The size range? Oh, 3 3/4 inch. 3 3/4. Thank you. Yeah. So these are GI Joe size figures. I was just looking through it. Like most of it's still. Let's be honest. Looking through this website, most of it's kind of unapologetically ripping off GI Joe. Yeah. Because like one of them is just like. I mean, the character art is so. Oh, what's his name? The big scary fella from GI Joe. Also a cook. You mean Roadblock? Roadblock, thank you. Okay. But I don't know G.I. Joe very well. Don't you or may kill me. But yeah, so a picture of Roadblock that is... The character art is really similar to the old Dreamwave art. Or the old Devil's Due art, rather, I should say. But... although there's a kind of interesting design of a character called Pandora. But anyway, rambling. So they've announced that they are going to have an exclusive figure available at BotCon 21. So this is going to be available only through BotCon and the Night Shining website, which is Pete Sinclair's shop. So this is a repaint of the Action Force Swamp Trooper into the Swamp Raider into the Wasp Raider, otherwise known as a Waspinator styled figure. So he comes with a wing backpack, a bunch of other accessories, and he's just been repainted into Waspinator colors. And I think the head's a new design. I'm just going to double check that. Or is there any new parts in this at all? Let me just go back to where I was. Yeah, I'm unsure, to be honest. Yeah, the head's been redesigned, and I believe the chest is different. Yeah, the chest piece is a bit different as well. The head's been... The redesign is not heavy. It's always been like bug themed, but I mean this kind of reminds me of the stuff we were getting from FunPub, which I think is kind of interesting. This will have fiction going along with it, styled like the timeline. So oh god no. Yeah. So yeah, it comes with a bunch of little accessories. We don't know anything else apart from it, bar the look. What do you think, Andy? I'm not really that taken with it, to be honest. It just kind of looks fine, I guess.
I think with all its gear on, it looks okay.
Yeah.
The base figure doesn't work for me. It looks like there was an episode of Batman Beyond with snake themed bad guys, and it's just like the bodysuit makes me think of that.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I kind of like the idea, like, because I always like those G.I. Joe vehicles painted up into Transformers.
Right.
And this is, I think, fairly clever, but my thing is I don't know what Action Force is like as a toy line. Is it any good or what?
Action Force.
Action Force.
Okay.
That's the name of the toy line.
Okay.
Action Force.
Okay.
Wasn't there an Action Force in the 80s?
There was. Yeah, it was our version of the show.
Oh, I was thinking it sounded familiar.
Yeah.
This is beginning to give me vibes of those, like, Not Pretenders. Remember them?
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't ever want it. The only Transformer crossover figures I'd want is that Shockwave and Marissa. And I want Marissa because I want to get Flametoys Thundercracker and then like have a display with a little table of him writing stuff and her bringing him coffee or punching him in the face, telling him to get back to work.
I noticed you don't say anything about Buster, though.
Do you know how hard it is to find a dog that looks any good in that scale?
I imagine it's not super easy.
No, because even if you just have it like human scaled Thundercracker, like plus you got to get a Puggle. Do you know how hard it is to find a Puggle?
Yeah, you'd probably get like normal dogs. You'd probably get like more conventional dogs like Labradors and stuff.
Yeah,
maybe a
people
sheepdog.
don't make Puggles.
No.
Then again, people should never have made Puggles. They are a crime against nature. Come at me, John.
Did you ever see the guy that made a bulldog and then put in Space Marine power armor?
No, I didn't.
It was a model. It wasn't like a real dog, but the model
really,
pretty good.
Really, they didn't armor a real dog.
To be fair, there are people who are really good at cosplaying who could probably make a power armor kit for a suit for a dog.
I feel like that's animal abuse, but cool.
Hey, people dress up their animals in bizarre things 90% of the time anyway.
True.
A lot. 90% is maybe a bit extreme.
Too much would be the answer there.
To be fair, 1% is too much, but it happens.
But yeah. Any other thoughts?
Not really, no.
So the only other thing of note was the Wei Zhang seizure and everything else has hit the wider world, people. So I think we talked about this before, but in case we didn't, it's been reported on multiple news sites that the Wei Zhang was raided and 5 suspects were arrested for allegedly, inverted commas, designing, producing, and selling counterfeit Transformer toys. According to Shanghai police. So this follows up on rumors that were popping up around April that something was going to happen. And yeah, so this was being produced in Guangdong, which I'm actually very familiar with because there's a lot of dinos that come out of there.
Oh, really? Like
the company...
legit ones are like knockoff ones?
Oh no, actual dinosaurs.
Okay.
And would you believe knockoff dinosaurs as well? Knockoff dinosaurs coming out of China is a very big thing.
Yeah, that's why I asked, because I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some dodgy ones coming as well.
Oh, so like the tails. But yeah, so they gave a breakdown of the factory they were out of. There were 130 people working there, 1,500 counterfeits per day.
Damn, they were producing.
Yeah. Oh, they confirmed that currently they'd sold them for $14 million in total.
Right.
And one person who's called An here, his surname is An, apparently a well-known Transformers toy collector. I couldn't find anyone who knows who he is.
Mm-hmm.
So presumably well-known in that he's a large nerd and whatever, who used to buy the original toys, dismantle them, scan them, and sell the designs to Wei Zhang.
That's still pretty intricate, isn't it?
He got a 10% of the sales.
Wow.
He got $1.4 million.
That's not bad.
Out of scanning a few toys. That's
yeah.
I mean, if I could get that much for sitting in my home with a screwdriver, I would. Let's be honest.
To be fair, though, he did get arrested, so it wasn't the best strategy.
Yes. During the raid, they seized over 30,000 figures.
Finished products, I'm assuming. Or near.
yeah, it's listed here 30,000 counterfeits and parts, and I've seen a sort of a hilarious looking sort of like police interview.
Oh, was this where they had the toy display?
Yeah,
And it looked like a weird toy show in China. Yeah.
I looked into this as well, and Wei Zhang apparently were getting weird. Like, we know they were trying to produce a few original designs, and
Yes.
to be blunt, it wasn't going well. But the guys running it apparently were shameless.
What do you mean?
Well, they were very open about what they were doing, and also once went up to Takara's head masterpiece designer and gave him a Wei Zhang product at a convention.
Oh no! Why?
And they got a picture of them doing it.
Why would they?
So they got a picture of them smiling. It's a movie Optimus, one of the movie Optimus. I think it's one of the Voyagers, scaled up, and it's just a picture of them with the masterpiece designer. And I was just like, I don't care if he's super cool with it or not. That's a very bad idea.
Why would you go and kick a line in the testicles?
Why would you give photographic evidence that you put on the internet that Takara can use to identify your face?
Oh, Mikey.
Why? On any planet would you do that?
Can you imagine if you're one of the employees of Wei Zhang and you're us, and you're just in there looking at the boss going, no, don't, no. Why?
No, he's just sitting there. Why would you do this? What are you doing? He's just like, hang on, I'm just putting something on Facebook. What are you putting on Facebook? We need that photo not to get out in circuit. No, hang on. So happy to meet. He loved our stuff. Okay, sorry, you were saying?
I thought you were going to say, like, the guy was going to put up a Photoshop of him having sex with the masterpiece designer with a big fuck you sign behind him. Like, yeah!
And a Wei Zhang figure in one hand. And, like, a broken masterpiece Optimus in front of him.
Like, Photoshop tears onto the masterpiece designer's face.
It's...
Jesus.
So dumb.
Not the wisest move.
No, and again, Hasbro has been wanting to get these guys for a while, but it was the Disney that,
yeah,
opened
totally.
the floodgate. Don't fuck with the mouse.
Yeah. Because maybe that's why they were so confident, because they're like, they won't fuck with us, and then they did the worst thing they could. They aggravated the mouse.
Yeah, and the mouse don't get fucked with.
No.
It is relentless and cruel. But yeah, and again, a lot of conversation of, has this opened the way for Hasbro to go after all third party? And it was very, like, even the stories point out these were almost or actually identical to the main figures, bare size.
I would disagree.
Yeah.
I would say that there was better quality. I've said this many times before.
Yeah.
The only thing they never did well is they didn't take them off the sprues desperately well, so they were giant, like, divots sometimes taken out of the plastic. But apart from that, they were better toys. Legitimately.
I'm listing it from the legal side of things.
Yes, yeah, from the legal side of things. Like, yeah, I doubt I would go to a judge and be like, "Let me sit you down, judge. Let me tell you why these are better toys than the official versions." Let's go through the points.
And that is why you must acquit.
And that's why you must acquit. Why does Chewbacca live with the Ewoks on the planet Endo?
Oh no, he's deployed to Chewbacca defense. I'm just thinking of the one from The Simpsons. What kind of tie am I wearing? You are wearing a clogged tie with a half Windsor knot. I'm not wearing a tie at all.
Oh my god.
And he got it shoved up his sleeve.
That's right, yeah.
Hey, remember when The Simpsons were funny?
Long ago.
But yeah, so legally third parties, and I know this because I have spoken to people, and there is information out there if you're willing to look for it. Third parties technically operate in a legal grey area whereby they obey the letter of the law regardless of the spirit. And the Hasbro does have the power to come down on them and put out cease and desist, but that is more efforts than it's worth.
Yeah.
Ultimately, they very rarely lose money to third party on any major scale, and when they are at risk of it, they always intervene. We've seen it 3 or 4 times over the years. Most recent being Unicron.
Yep, yeah, that's right.
And you'll notice they haven't stopped them releasing the Unicron again. Now that all the pre-orders are in.
Yeah.
Has their technically, very, 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 very technically, what third party is doing is technically legal. It is IP infringing, but in that hairbreadth of a legal area.
That's interesting. That's the case.
For some stuff, it's actually a lot more legal. Like
Really?
the highly stylized designs are a lot safer. A lot safe, not super safe, but a lot safer. Hasbro would it would be a lot more effort to go after them, and they don't benefit from it. And like I said, it's been really obvious that they've been using it as kind of a research center for a few years.
Yeah, they have benefited for sure.
Yeah, and again, I have heard a few rumors from people over the years to sort of support that. Yes, Hasbro watches the third-party trends.
Oh, sure. But I suppose that there is a difference between third-party and direct knockoffs.
Yes, there is a big difference because direct knockoffs are intended to outcompete the original product.
Yeah.
Here is a cheaper version of what you could buy on the shelf.
Yeah.
Whereas third-party, they're usually very expensive. They're made in small numbers. Like, you're not making 14 million off a fan project.
I bet they were. I bet Fans Project wishes that was the case.
Yeah, we'll make more Glacial Lords. Oh, did I do it? I did it.
The problem is that's not the case because people didn't buy them, unfortunately.
But they should have.
They should have.
I
did. Did you?
I've been looking for a sale for all 5. I've got one, but I have no money.
Oh.
I can't buy everything I love, Andy.
That's not what you said to me last night.
No, I was selling what I loved there. But yeah, it's yeah, so third party's probably pretty safe. Third party also doesn't try to piss off the mouse.
No.
I saw one person say, like, is there a third party circuit for anything else? And like there is for Gundam, which I found out pretty quickly when I started doing into Gundam. There's also a small but pretty active one for Digimon.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's neat.
You can get quite a lot. Like, Kapow's got one up there. Tong Mung is kind of the main one at the moment.
Gross.
But they do, like, you can get chibi figures, you can get hyper stylized figures, etc., etc. Turtles has a bit of a one that kind of ebbs and flows. Voltron had one that was so good they bought the design. And just released it as a masterpiece style Voltron figure. That really happened, people. There was a third-party Voltron, and their way of preventing, like, it got released, or it was going to be released, I think. And the Voltron, like, whoever owned Bandai, I'm assuming, who owns the license for it, their response was, "Can we buy the design? We'll either sue you or we can buy the design." Okay?
Please buy the design then, I guess.
Yeah. Please buy the design. Happy trails.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's probably not good. It is interesting. Probably not good for the old knockoff circuit in general. But Weijang, I think, the fact that they were doing upscaling quality as well, I think was what was the threat.
More than likely. If they were worse quality, not as many people would have been buying them.
Yeah. Especially for stuff like the Titan figures, because, as you know yourself, there are people who have bought them because they were cheaper.
Yeah.
And better.
And bigger.
And bigger.
And had minor upgrades. Some of them, at least.
Yeah. And, sales were lost on a large scale to Weijang. I don't know. I'll be curious to see how it... I suspect the effect this will have on the knockoff circuit is minor.
Oh, at best, yeah, because there'll be something else that comes along.
Yeah, 2 years down the line, and they'll just be like, "Don't knock off a Hot Toys." Cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it for the news, really, Andy.
Yeah, as far as I can think of, anyway. I don't think there's anything else that rocked the world quite like the death of Wei Zhang. At least the neutering.
We will rock you back.
That's not the words that you're thinking about.
No, it's not.
Mikey,
we are fuck you.
What have you been up to this week? What have you done for fun?
Watching weird shit on YouTube.
Yeah,
fun weird shit, but very fun, very enjoyable. Like basically, I've been watching the Hololive stuff.
Yeah,
and it's really, really fun.
Yeah, it's easy watching.
Yeah, it's fairly charming and at times completely fucking nuts.
Yes.
And a very strong message about social distancing.
Yes, Jesus.
One stay at home.
Stay home.
One I felt like, did you see what was it? Luna's English lessons. Did you see those?
Is that the little princess one?
Yeah.
I don't like them. I don't like them very much.
I only found 3 or 4, but I find it amusing because they're using the imagery of adorable character, and she's saying like, today you're going to be learning about the English word for the day is asshole.
Yes, and how do you use it in a sentence?
And that's the mild version.
Yes.
But for COVID, it was, the sentence today is, stay the fuck home. But no, it's entertaining. Like, if you just want some general nonsense, it's worth checking in, and it's occasionally rather sweet when it gets sincere. But it's good crack. Also the best Doom playthrough I've ever seen.
Corones.
Yeah.
It's good, yeah.
Yeah.
You see it get better, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, she gets better, but she gets darker.
Yeah.
Turns out that girl has a dark side.
That's the good thing about Corone.
Like there was one thing where it's like her search history came up, and it was just like most famous torture methods through the years, and she was apparently she's pitching a stream about talking about execution and torture. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, and apparently there's some sort of meme about her eating fingers.
Oh, Yubi. Yeah. That's the thing. You have to offer her your fingers.
I don't want to.
No, it's the thing. It's too late.
General stuff here. We had stuff going on and Nice and everything else, so busy. But I did watch 2 episodes actually of 01 because this week's episode was subbed today, which was very quick.
Oh, wow.
So episode 39, which is following on the Guy arc, and episode 40, which is introducing 02.
Mm-hmm.
What to say about episode 39?
Has it gotten better? Are you less aggravated with it than you were last week? Oh,
I was more aggravated.
Oh no!
Because but at least they try to tie the fecking dog in as a thing,
right?
But they're here. Like the dog was still. It was still Guy's helper robot dog who made him a better person simply by existing. But like what 01 does a henshin. And it's a drawn-out henshin, which is constantly cutting back to the dog, who's imitating the henshin noise.
No.
And I'm like, oh, it's so cute. No, it's fucking not. It's annoying.
Mm.
This is the big team-up scene. Why are we pausing to sell a toy? Oh, look, Thouser in suit is carrying around a small robot dog. Like, it worked kind of like there's a gag thing where he's meeting Fu and Yaiba. And he's going like he's trying to apologize, and he doesn't do it very well. And the dog apparently growls at him, and he's like, "No, Thouser, don't get mad." And I'm just like, "Thouser, no, not the face." And like he makes him apologize better, but that was shameless advertising. And I read it was only supposed to be for 2 episodes, so the dog may never come back.
Oh, good. It's well worth it.
As I've said, I accept the reality that the COVID pandemic has probably kneecapped Guy's planned redemption arc.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have to kill it with marketing. So fuck off with that noise. There are elements about that episode I like after the big, like it opens with the big fight, which is interesting. Which is a good fight, but he officially apologizes to Aruto, and Aruto is like and a good scene, I think, for the actor, who is not the strongest they've ever had. But he's like, you have any concept of what you've done, not just to people in general, but to people I know.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you've made my life's work and the life's work of my family demonized in popular culture. You've used money against people. I'm willing to work with you, but a lot of people are not going to be happy with you.
You've tried to genocide a new form of life.
Yeah.
Effectively.
There's a good
I don't think that's an exaggeration either.
No, he absolutely
robots
did.
Yeah, the robots were gaining sentience in life, and he was like, decommission them.
Yeah, and I should say, comes across as less forgiving than Naruto.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, you should apologize. You should apologize more.
Yeah.
You're not doing it right. You should bow. And Fua is a bit... Yaiba wants to kick him in the face.
Oh, that's fair.
And Fua is kind of like, okay, prove it. And like wants control of aims. But yeah, and then there's a bit at the end involving, since the week is so old, I don't mind saying this, but the 01 driver is taken and destroyed, and the satellite is hacked, and Ark is the bad guy again. Episode 40 is not what I was expecting. It's a series of time loops from Iz's perspective. They're trying to develop, basically they need to develop a 02 driver because right now Aruto has no powers.
Yes.
And we've got 3 or 4 loops through the episode of her seeing a series of events that don't end well.
Okay.
And getting more and more emotionally damaged from it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good episode for Iz. Like, it's a good one that shows her character development, the actress's ability. But I think the absolute winner is the direction. So they reuse a lot of they redo a lot of scenes in this, but in fact I'm not sure if probably a very small amount of footage is reused. If they do a scene twice, they film it from a slightly different angle, or they film if it was a front on shot before, now it's a side shot.
Right.
So I really liked that. That was a really cool directorial choice. Like, they could have cheaped out and just reused the same footage for a lot of it, and instead, even footage that looks the same, you'll see something in it where it's like, oh no, this has been refilmed.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really cool. I think that's really interesting and inventive. And 02 is introduced, and it looks okay.
It's not it's fine.
It's a simple form, and a lot of people like that. I don't mind simple. I just not crazy about the overall design.
I think we've discussed it before, haven't we? Where we think it's a nice idea, but it's not a great upgrade in a sense.
Yeah, I think if they were going to do that, I would have gone with something like simple, but a completely new design.
Yeah.
Okay,
it looks way too similar.
Yeah. Okay, we're doing a new design. 02, it's the same style as 01, but it's like a different animal, say. Or a different color scheme or something like that. This just looks like they added silver bits to 01.
I did hear that the grasshopper that he combines with has a little scarf, which is kind of cute.
Yeah, there's actually 2 grasshoppers.
Oh, okay.
There's a yellow one and a red one.
Right.
So, and yes, the red one has a little scarf.
Yeah, that's cute.
But yeah, the fight is not the best, but in terms of direction, there's some very cool choices made.
Right.
This was a really well directed episode. And yeah, preview looks like it's doing another redemption arc for a character, except this is a character where I feel like that character has had development, so I'm more interested.
Okay.
But now, 39, if you bought into Guy's redemption, which I saw some people on Twitter go into real lengths to justify.
Oh no.
and there was a lot of, oh, isn't the dog cute?
Oh, I knew it.
But if you did get it, if you could get through that and deal with the really even if I didn't know about the marketing, I would say it was bizarre. But it was probably an average-ish episode. To me, it was a feckin' struggle.
Yeah.
And episode 40, it's difficult for me to look at episode 40 as a plotted episode. But as concepts and directorial, and as something for Iz to get a bit of character focus. I thought it was great. In all honesty, really liked it. Kind of highlighting that Jin makes no sense anymore. But again, that I will say is COVID. I think Jin definitely, his arc got kneecapped a bit. And I can't blame the creators for a disease.
I mean, you could. It'd just be wrong and asshole-y.
Yeah. Did you see the design for Saber?
Kinda. I saw the face designer thing where he has fiery eyes.
Yeah, he's dragon themed.
Yeah, I want to kind of not say too much about it just because I've looked at designs before and I haven't liked them until the show started. Yeah, but it hasn't hooked me straight away, I'll say.
No, the theme seems to be storybooks.
Oh, okay.
Because the powers come from the items are books that you open up. So I'm very curious about that.
It's weird because that sounds like it would have been better for Wizard to have books in a weird way.
But looks like he's his upgrade forms are going to be based off of Peter Pan and Jack and the Beanstalk.
That's interesting.
But it's I think they're called Dragon Peter and Dragon Jack.
Dragon Peter.
That would have been a very different story. Wendy, get on. You'll never go up because I'll eat you.
You'll never go up, Wendy. You'll only go down. No, Sean Connery dragon, go away.
I'm an advancement in technology. Please stop, Sean Connery dragon. I have no quarrel with you. But yeah, I'm curious about Saber, at least visually. It doesn't look too bad, but I need to see the full suit because it's just a helmet and a bit of a gimmick. But yeah, 01. I think there's at least 5 episodes left. So I'm curious how it's going to play out. Like I said, I'm putting money down Guy's going to be possessed, but don't quote me on that.
Are you getting the feeling that you'll come out of 01 and think it's like a 5 out of 10 kind of thing? It's fine.
I think at its best it's a 7.
Okay.
And I think if it's worst, it's a 5. It's never bad.
No.
It's a struggle for 10 episodes,
which
I spent a lot of time justifying at the time.
The tournament dark, if you forget.
Yeah, I like a lot about this show. I like a lot of what it does. I like a lot of the characters. I like a lot of the aesthetics. But there's some choices being made here where I feel either producers are making bad calls or the writer's making a bad call.
Yeah.
I think the director has proven himself that he should be directing a lot more stuff because he is very inventive, very creative. Like, for me, he is absolutely the star. Just the choices he makes for camera angles and his approach to fight scenes, very dynamic. Really, all credit in the world. But yeah. The only other thing of note, I watched Bicentennial Man for the first time in 15 years.
Oh, God.
I like it. I liked it at the time, but I like it. It's based on a much better Isaac Asimov book.
Sure.
The Positronic Man. What kills this? Okay, so I say I like it. I'm not saying it's perfect. What absolutely destroys the momentum is the last half of the film,
right?
Which is it's a romance plot. Which it didn't have to be. Because like the whole wanting to be identified as human and recognized is so he can get married,
right,
and be seen as an equal. But it's mostly so he can get married. And the reason he comes up with the idea, spoilers for a massively old movie, they basically commits robot suicide is to like say, I am now human enough to die. Which is something in the book, but that's something he comes to the choice differently. I really like the first half of the film. I think Robin Williams is well cast. I think he plays off Sam Neill really well.
Sam Neill's in it, Jesus.
Sam Neill is the guy who owns him in the start of the film. And
slavery.
Yeah, well, that kind of a thing, and he gives Andrew a lot of freedom and treats him increasingly like a person. But one of the things is his own biases, which in some ways are like at one point Andrew is basically his son, and all his daughters have moved out with their lives, and he's depressed and doesn't want his son to leave, and they separate on a bad note. And I think Robin Williams plays the role straight most of the time. I think he does a good job. I like when he goes off to develop he meets up with the guy and starts trying to develop his more human side. I just think if they'd taken out that romance plot, you'd have had a very serviceable film. I think it's high concept in a good way. I like androids. I like robots. I like Robin Williams. He's done terrible movies, but he's a good actor. And this was one of his more dramatic roles. And I think if they hadn't added that romance plot, this would have been a lot better received. Yes, and I still think Starship Troopers is terrible.
You're wrong. Well, that's fine.
It's atrocious.
Nah. You like Bicentennial Man?
But I can intellectually enjoy Bicentennial Man while recognizing its faults. And I can intellectually say that Starship Troopers is a fucking mess.
That's great.
And so Independence Day isn't a film.
Oh, it's so much fun though. Boomer lives. The dog lives.
Okay, a meme lived.
Yeah.
Well done. And Will Smith punched an alien.
Yeah, that was fun too. An alcoholic man saved the world. Loved it.
Yay.
That's a
you know, that was
film.
his next film. After Jurassic Lost World, I went from Lost World to that with Jeff Goldblum. It was a struggle.
I would have said it would have been the other way around for me. I would have been like, oh man, Lost World. And then it would have been like, yeah.
I mean, at the time I was like young, so Lost World was a lot better in my head.
Okay.
But like I saw Starship Troopers a year or two after Lost World, and that was my second experience with Jeff Goldblum. And I'm just like, as a child, I'm sitting there going like, Jeff, you're talking bollocks. So no, it's a bad movie. Nah. That I was saying, woo woo. List of movies that you tell me are brilliant, I say are terrible, and you've got to convince me.
Why do I have to convince you?
Because people will be entertained. No,
it sounds like a lot of work.
You must break through this unmovable wall.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of work. You're like the Juggernaut.
I can always just say, yeah, but I don't want to. But yeah. And yeah, I watched episode 2020? No, 21 of Build Divers. Yeah, I didn't get to finish Turn A this week just because of time, so I'm going to try and watch a few episodes tonight and make my way through, because I do that's a unique show and it is worth discussing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Build Divers, which I would describe as, you know, that slice of life episode that animes do before shit hits the fan.
Yes.
This was the slice of life episode. Everyone's just kind of hanging out. Kazumi has a new Gundam. He's designed his new Gunpla and like the Aegis Knight, which I don't like as much as the Justice Knight.
It doesn't look as good.
I don't like the Aegis Gundam as much as the Infinite Justice either.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not crazy about the Infinite Justice as a design, but I like, yeah. But Justice Knight is cool. But yeah, I like the idea. I like the idea. Like he switched over from an offensive to a defensive form of fighting. I like that idea. And there's a fun bit with the dragon, and they're all having a picnic, and they materialize as Haros at one point. On Eldora, which requires explanation for the people of Eldora. Sure. We're like, why is this ball talking to me with the voice of someone I know? There's one bit at the end, because it's leading. The next big arc is basically taking down the Seltsum. That is where we're going. But there's one bit at the end where basically the female friend, the childhood friend, finds out about Hiroto's life as a superhero, broadly speaking. Mm-hmm. And for time, she accepts this very quickly. Like, he basically says, so, this is going to sound weird, but I go into a video game, digitize myself, travel to another planet, and fight an alien monster.
He's crazy.
Yeah, and that guy you know who's in a coma, he's there too, and I'm going to go help him now.
Crazy.
Because he's piloting a Gundam, but it's trying to kill us. Because he's been taken over by an AI who's trying to murder furries.
Was her first reaction, because, you know, this kid had clearly had a serious bout of depression, like, he's just lost it?
No, her first reaction was to ask, are you going to die?
What?
She goes like, okay, sure.
I'm on board. No questions needed.
And then she'd go like, okay, I'm going to go support his sister. The sister of the guy in the coma, and you save him. Okay, cool. As someone who really likes this show, and when we get to the end so far, unless they really drop the ball at the ending, this is, in my opinion, a really solid show.
It's your bicentennial man.
People agree with me on this. Loads of people agree with me on. You can't even pull that card. Like, at best it's my Independence Day or Starship Troopers, but it's not. But like, this is me and the winner's circle. I'm part of the crowd now, Andy. I'm not sitting there saying Build Divers Original is brilliant. Like, I watched some clips of that during the week, and I can definitely say Build Divers Original is not brilliant.
Oh boy, that show.
That, like, if I'd seen Build Divers first and heard about a sequel, I wouldn't have touched the sequel to the garden pole. Mm-hmm. But I think this is a good show. Shut up.
Okay. Yeah.
But she's so quick to turn. It's like, oh, right. So you're fighting aliens then?
Obviously.
Okay. Fine, cool. No.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, is this supposed to be in the same universe as Build Fighters?
Oh, fucking who knows? I don't think so. Maybe. If it is, I think it's meant to be set well into the future.
Yeah, because, like, Gunpla battles have changed, haven't they? Like, yeah, I know they have a couple in Build
in the
Divers,
first series, but there's a kid who's like, we need to fight with the old system where the models can actually be destroyed, so there's actually stakes.
Yeah.
Which is the first time the show ever had stakes in that season, at least.
Yeah,
so I think it is meant. It doesn't say how long into the future it is.
Yeah, but if it is, when you think about it, if it is like set in the same universe, technically they've already established that aliens exist.
Mm-hmm. I suppose. And, well, at least I don't think he was shown to the public, though.
No, but like the
to
viewer
the audience, at least. Yeah, sure.
But there's also a bit where she's asking what an L-diver is, which is obviously for new viewers, which was really strange to me because everyone's asked, like, it's followed by a scene of people in the GBN asking about L-divers, and it's like, I feel this would have been in the news.
You would have thought so. Well, I suppose like a big event happens in World of Warcraft, like
yeah, but big event happens in World of Warcraft that leads to intelligent life.
But they're trapped in a video game and not even a good one.
No, they can come out.
That's true. Yeah, who knows?
But like, if the dwarves in World of Warcraft suddenly started saying we don't want you to keep murdering, or the boars, if the boars in World of Warcraft turned around and said please stop killing us for experience points, like, I'm fairly certain that would make the news.
You'd think
Then
so.
again, the bloody UFO thing at the moment, no one's talking about.
You may have found a plot hole, Mikey.
Bullshit. Plot holes. Have you heard that about the UFOs, by the way?
What?
They admit they're real.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And they're going to have a big press. There's a big press conference coming up.
I mean, the news is like them announcing that was a few months ago. I didn't know they were having a press conference about it.
Yeah,
though.
but it just amuses me. Like, I don't think it's aliens.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Well, they said UFO. That's an identified object,
yeah,
so it could be
but,
anything.
Yeah, but I know enough about the theory behind it to say, like, aliens are unlikely, and also, would a sensible alien come here the way we're going? They'd probably catch something. But, just to me, like, UFOs confirmed. You'd feel like, even in, like, tabloids, that would be bigger than it was. Aliens land, invade Poland. All right. Oh God, I said invade Poland. That's very dark.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's darker than intended. But yeah, Bill Davers. I'm like, it was the slice of life cam before the Storm episode, so I'm looking forward to the next one because the preview Celsum looks like it's gonna go nuts. Which is weird because I'm not actually crazy about the Celsum as a take on the design.
Okay.
I don't like when you realize what's going on with the face, which is just a Mark III face with the mask on around the mouth and the eye.
Yeah.
It gets a bit visually distracting, and the arm is cool until you think about it. Aesthetically for me, but anyway, that was kind of it for me, really. What about you? I got a few pre-orders in.
Oh.
And I've got some stuff coming to me next week because I did sell some stuff on eBay.
Hey.
So I got a pre-order in for the full clot and the bound dock.
Right.
And I'm still toying with the Flametoys stuff. I did put in a pre-order for the J-Decker, the base J-Decker, which is out next year. And I've got the high-grade Stray Red Frame and the SD Knight Gundam coming to me during the week.
Nice. That's not bad.
I've been wanting to try an SD for a while, and the Knight looks interesting. It's a 2012 kit, but like it has a Centaur mode.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm very curious about it. So I'll have some stuff during the week. But yeah, so that was me. What about you, Andy?
Not a huge amount. The podcasts went up that I forgot about, so I got the comic show up. It's just as well. The Patreon show went up as well, where we talk about, we try and rank the Neo Heisei era writers from worst to best, at least in our opinion. So that was out. I got a box of Gundam kits I ordered 12 weeks ago. So they finally came in. I thought they were lost. I was even contacting like HLG, like, where's my shit?
Somewhere.
Yeah, so I eventually got it, which was nice. So I got, they're all Iron Blooded Orphans kits. There's the, the Chimaris Trooper, which is like in 2 episodes for maybe the amount of 5 minutes. Maybe a bit more, but it's not in a lot. Also got the... Don't drop the bits out the box. The Astaroth Origin, which I think is a manga-only one. It's a red one. It's pretty cool. It's got a sheath for its katana that can be used as a giant hammer as well. So
I know the Astaroth. I don't know the one you're talking about, though.
Yeah, there's like 3 versions of the Astaroth. There's the first version with an asymmetrical design. Then there's the Origin version, which is the red version, which I think is how it was meant to be, like back during the big war when all the Gundams were about. And then there's the Astaroth after that, which is, it has like really big, thick boy weapons, like a sword that gets even bigger. So it looks really nice. It's all red and whatnot. I like the Chimaris Trooper a lot as well. It has a Centaur mode, but it's a bit on the shitty side. And with the Chimaris, it comes with a giant lance, which is far too big for it to really hold. But it does have like extra arms on its side skirts, which helps. a lot, which were in the show. And also the last one was the Dandelion, I think it's called, which has a very Dandelion. All right, that one too. It has a really thin body. It is based off a lot of the Ironblood kits, and then it gets a backpack, which turns into 2 giant, massive gorilla arms.
I've seen this one.
It's really neat.
This is the Gridman one.
What?
Power Gridman. I always think of this as Power. Not Power. Is it the Max Tractor?
Yeah, I see what you're getting at. Yeah, I guess I could see that. The way it comes together is a little bit like the pieces are different. There are some different pieces in there to make the kit. It's still an Iron-Blooded Orphan kit, which kind of build very similar, but it has some nice bits that are different about it. And I do like the giant gorilla arms. They're very fancy. All 3 of them together, I was very happy. I think the Iron-Blooded Orphans kits are just good, even if they do become a little bit samey building them all. And some of them are a little bit tenuous on the structure, just because,
some of those designs, like, I've seen through them. I would say, especially on, like, a high grade, they'd be pushing stability a bit. Yeah,
it's mainly around the waist, because it's one ball joint, and the ball joint sometimes is a bit on the wonky side. Most of the other times, though, they're pretty solid kits. They do a good job. So I got that. Today I got my Warhammer 40,000 Indomitus set, which is the new 9th edition. I got my half of it, I should say. So I got a load of Necron sprues, and I got the big fat-ass new rule book. It's what I call a baby killer book, because it's big, thick, and heavy. That you could probably kill a child with it. I haven't had a huge amount to look through it, but I have sniffed it. I did a podcast recording with Mr. Gruff and Mr. George on the Fluff and Hammer. So I was on that, and I was huffing away on my new book, giving a good old sniff of the new the book smell. Smells good. Smells good, boy.
You are a problem.
Who needs drugs when you got new book smell? Am I right?
I like old book smell.
No, that smells of people.
But that smells of, like, time. New book smell is just so stale.
Yeah, new book smells of chemicals. And I love
Have you ever
chemicals.
just thought of, I don't know, sniffing something?
What do you mean? That's literally what I was doing. The something was
No, like something more socially acceptable, like glue.
I've sniffed glue before. I've got a Sharpie as well by me, so in case I want a quick high, I can sniff away.
Real thing, I tried sniffing glue once. It didn't work.
Well, what kind of glue were you sniffing?
I don't know. It was like, I looked it up, and it was just like, I was young and stupid, and I looked it up, and I was just like, I was just like, well, this is just me normally.
See, I would laugh if you were like sniffing away at like non-glue without fumes. You know, non-fume glue. It's like, well, no matter how hard you sniff, boy, that ain't gonna do nothing.
Just got a Pritt stick, and I'm just like,
just rubbing it around your lips like lipstick. No, Mikey.
Oh, it was chapstick.
Oh no, that's not what glue is.
Strawberry.
Mr. Dave also gave me his copy of Forgebane. Again, the Necron side, because he didn't want them, and he was like, "Do you want him?" I was like, I mean, I'm not gonna. If you're not gonna break my legs, I'll have him, I suppose. Yeah, sure, I'll take them off you. So that was very cool of him. I've done some gardening. I've tried to kill some ants, because fuck the ants.
Yeah, I heard.
Fuck them every single year.
You do realize they're more organized than you, right?
Well, no, it's not that. It's they breed faster than I can kill them.
Yeah, but and they've got like a social structure.
Yes, and then there's me alone. There's one versus hundreds, maybe thousands.
I'm just thinking of that first issue of Atomic Robo. Just the giant ant, he spends the entire time going like, this shouldn't be happening.
It's true.
I feel like that's going to be you one day.
Yeah, maybe. It could be the case.
Oh, giant ants have invaded. And he's standing in the middle. You're not real!
I don't believe in you. I finished off that anime I was watching. What was it? Gleipnir,
I think it's called.
Yeah, whatever it's called.
Yeah,
I finished it. It ends on like a not a non-happy ending, and a non-conclusive ending.
Please give us a season 2 ending.
Yeah, is there a season 2? Was that confirmed?
I know it's an ongoing manga.
Oh yeah. I wonder if it's one of those things where it's like, nah. Read the manga light novel. It kind of feels like it felt very generic. I didn't dislike watching it, but as I was watching, I was like, I've seen this shit before. You know, it wasn't doing anything that I hadn't seen, or I didn't feel like I knew where it was going. But it didn't feel like it was bad. It just felt generic-y, I suppose. But that was fine. It was entertaining enough.
Yeah, I'm letting the new season build up a bit before I start digging in.
Oh, for anime in general.
Yeah, because like every week I've sat down and say, will I watch ReZero now? And I'm just like, nope. You know,
oh yeah, I forgot ReZero's out now, isn't it?
I need to absorb that.
Yes, there needs to be a few.
Because I don't want to go into ReZero watching like one episode and go like, hit me.
Yeah, yeah, and be like, oh, you gotta wait another week. Like, oh,
I haven't even watched trailers or anything. I've been so good.
I've seen one trailer, but it's like one of those really small ones. So it was like 10 seconds long or something.
It's like Subaru fucked.
Yeah, it's like Subaru walking, and that was about it. I was like, oh, fair enough. That didn't mean anything, so that's fine, I suppose.
Subaru making the wrong romantic choices.
Yeah, well, he's already. Man, can you imagine if he
technically what he wants is polygamy. He's been very open about that. His life goal is polygamy. Like he has a number 1 and a number 2, and he's just like them both, please.
Well, he has, transported to another world, so I'm assuming like he's going like, well, it has to have a Harry,
and he has said, if I didn't have a first love and a second love, you'd do to someone.
Subaru said that.
Remember the tough woman? I can't remember her name. She's in charge of like that small army he was leading.
Oh,
and
yeah.
She was strategizing, and he said like, if I didn't have a number 1, I already have a number 2.
God, I forgot he said that.
Like, yeah. So I'm very curious because I've heard it gets dark now.
I mean, it already got pretty dark.
Yeah, that was my response. Hang on, it gets dark.
Yeah.
That's like saying a certain show about children like trying to climb down a hole gets dark.
Hey, that's a good show. I still need to watch the movie of Made in Abyss.
Yeah, well, there's a couple now, I think.
I think there's only one that matters, like the one that precedes the series. There's
because I know they've been doing like the next arc has been done as a movie.
Oh,
I know that much.
Yeah, that's probably the one I'm talking about. Yeah,
because it's the one where like again everyone goes like, holy shit, it gets dark.
Yeah.
Just like. Now it gets dark.
You'll never surprise me, though. You'll never turn my stomach because I just don't care.
I know, but I was going to say, like, we know for a fact this show has like has crossed boundaries for people in what its approach to violence.
People, yeah.
So how dark is this going to get?
Yeah. I imagine you get me coming on and I'm like, oh, that's too much. If I come on and I say, ooh, that's too much, then don't watch it. It's really bad. Because I have a high tolerance for that shit. As I came away from a hostel, like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But there you go. I don't think I did anything else of real worth or like girthy value this week. Not that I can think of. Just getting through more build. I think I decided that I'll probably go on to Gaim straight after build.
Oh, no.
I know, what a horrible torture, right? I just thought to myself, when we did the podcast, I was like, I could do with rewatching Gaim. That would be alright.
You just want that Takatora shower scene.
No, I'm not Nicole.
Aren't you?
No, I'm pretty sure. We do have a message this week, Mr. Mikey.
I've got a couple as well.
So let me read you one that was sent to us via Liboson. Hello, Moonbase 2 crew. That's me and you, Mikey. Andy here. Andy with an I. Since my name caused some confusion with the podcast hosts, that's us, that's me and you. The last time I wrote in, I hereby renounce my old name, and henceforth shall be known as Andy _with_an_I, which is how it shall be read.
I could just call you Andai.
That's a great name, Andai.
You shall be and I.
And I. No, it has to be Andai.
Yeah.
Because it sounds aggressive, and die.
And die.
Now with the formalities out of the way, I would like to chime in on Mikey's current Gundam craze. Your craze,
really?
Mikey.
Because if you saw my pre-order thing, you'd say it's less of craze and more, okay, time for an intervention.
Yes, it's a problem.
Because I've told you some of what I pre-ordered.
the rest of the shame cannot be discussed.
Oh, I nearly got like 2 master grades in today, and I was just like, if I do this...
You haven't had 1 master grade, though, have you?
I know. No, I'm still waiting on the debt site's been held up.
Yeah, you need to wait to see if you like them first.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
No,
like, hell, it was so bad I nearly went for the real grade Zeta at one point.
Oh,
like,
no.
And I was like, no. I was just like, no, just...
No, that would have been a bad call.
I think Matt was getting his real grades during the week. I real grade, and he was saying like he wants to dive in, and I thought I'd better warn him.
Yeah, just in case. Yeah, not a bad idea. Since he's so fond on Crossbones Gundam, he should totally buy the metal build Crossbones Gundam X1. Because, of course, the metal build Gundams are cheap.
Because that's so affordable. I haven't looked at that 1,000 times. No.
Which is, as of this time of writing, available at Kapow Toys for the low price of $269.99. Nice.
Yeah, nice.
At least it's not 6,969.69. That would be super nice. So there is that. It's an excellent metal build release with good articulation, fun gimmicks, and lots of accessories. It has a mechanical parrot. Oh, wow, that's neat. Yes, and forearm swivels.
The parrot's based off something from a manga, but it's human-sized in a manga.
Oh, okay. All right, that's cool. What more can you ask for? I think Mikey would say it to be cheaper.
Yeah. If you think I haven't looked at the... Because it's a stylized version of the Crossbone. And you know me and stylization.
That's true.
But, like... Hobby Frontline has it up there right now for €270.
Oh, that's like, a little cheaper.
Yeah, that's cheaper, and it's shipping in country. But like, it looks amazing. It's kind of like what they try, because like the Verka tried to like make the crossbone a bit more fancy, and I think they just kind of made a crossbone that looked with slightly better proportions. But this thing is nuts. It's absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it definitely looks good. I mean, all the metal build stuff goods.
Yeah, and again, parrot.
Right, so let me go back. While the X2 release in purple and black, and with more weapons, should be more in line with my sensibilities in terms of color, I oddly prefer the X1. I especially like the tone of the red paint Bandai used for the areas like the feet, which is uncharacteristic shade of a color for Gundams. The only thing I'm iffy about are the soft goods used for the cape. They just never look quite right as a weighted actual cloth. No, that's true. The getting cloth to look right with products is quite difficult. Usually, if you want a decent stuff, you kind of have to make it yourself. I remember thinking that when I saw people make custom cloaks for the Kronos figure art from Exade. Like I saw people making their own skirt stuff for them, and it looked way better than the plastic stuff. But
so the various crossbones, depending on the real grade, has a hard plastic cape.
Yeah,
which looks decent from the front, but
it does have some issues in itself because it's static.
But
at least
the high grade,
nice.
The high grade, it's basically just paper.
Yeah, that weird papery, almost like bin bag material. It looks shit. It looks terrible. Where? On the outside? No, right there it is. There's where I was. Bandai found a nice workaround with larger pieces of plastic in the inside, weighting the cloak that look like patches that keep it together on the outside. Additionally, the bards of cloak have ball joint armatures on the inside, allowing them to articulate in some fashion. Or articulate in some fashion is probably how I should have said it. Not ideal, but better than most approaches to soft goods. You can get some excellent poses out of the cloak in that way, like putting the I thought it said the sharks from underneath, but it says the shanks coming out from underneath. There's also a metal build F91 Harrison Madden custom.
That's the blue F91.
Yeah, I was gonna guess that. Yeah. From Tamashii Nations. From a Tamashii
Nations. That's affordable.
Yeah. A few years back, which is an alright release. I'm not too keen on the glossy blue used for the main colors and the shades of yellow used for the highlights. However, it is pretty affordable on the after sales market.
Don't trust you.
I'm going to press X for doubt.
Yeah. press F to pay respects because
Yeah.
I don't believe that for a second.
I think it depends what your description of affordable means to Andy with an eyes description of
Yeah,
affordable
it's like
means.
I'm just like once you put like a convention, any kind of exclusive in front of something that's already in the $200-300 dollar range,
Yeah.
like
Now, if we're talking about like 30 quid or 30 euros, I think Mikey could probably stretch that and be like, yeah, all right, that's affordable.
yeah,
That's fine.
like I've been looking at the high grade, but all the yellow bits are stickers, and it's annoying.
That's how it works. Unfortunately, you see yellow 90% of the time. If you see yellow on a Gundam that isn't a V-fin, it's like, that's a fucking sticker. It's rare when it's not, unfortunately. Speaking of the aftermarket for metal build toys, just to poke you even more, it seems like the prices have been caving in significantly. Caving in significantly since spring, at least on Mandarake. I'm not sure how easy it is to get stuff from them at the moment, but
no, which is the point, I believe.
oh right, but I don't know if this is due to the economic downturn following the COVID crisis, forcing Japan collectors to liquidate parts of their collection, or Mandarake being unable to move stock due to the inability to ship certain areas of the world. Have you noticed a trend of falling aftermarket prices on other toy lines since the COVID crisis unfold? Kind regards, Andy _with_and I_. So, that's yes, and I. So that's the question, Mikey. Have you personally noticed any kind of shift in the aftermarket sale of toys? Because for me, I can say I haven't really been looking because most of my stuff would have been coming from Japan. And subsequently, since they can't ship really outside of Japan, it's redundant to look and make myself sad for the most part.
Well, in context, I just looked at Mandarake. The X1's going for 20,000 yen, which is a big price drop from what everyone else is offering. I haven't noticed it by our lines, but when I have looked at shops, I'm seeing a lot more sales and a lot more expensive stuff on sale.
Yeah.
I think what you're going to find in this kind of market is that you've got a lot of stock that isn't moving, and therefore stuff that used to let hang around, like the metal bills, because you'd let those hang around until you sold them.
Yes.
Just because the price and everything else.
Yeah, they're a collector's thing. They're kind of meant to hang around for a while.
They're much more likely to go into sales and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, of course, certainly the international market's been kneecapped because I bought stuff off eBay in the last couple of months, and like every single time they contacted me and said, like, listen, I had to go airmail and this thing will be to you quickly, but I'm looking at easily $100 for some items, or I can send by boat and it'll take 3 months, but €15 shipping.
Yeah,
like it's a big thing. But yeah, it's a weird one. But it's understandable.
Oh yeah, totally. And hopefully, who knows when, but hopefully the market will shift back. That's the hope, at least. Anyway, unfortunately, I have run out of time as I need to zip off. Really, Mikey,
I'm planning on embarrassing someone, so thanks for that.
That's right. Unfortunately, if Mikey wants to record a separate piece of audio and send it in to me answering the question, then you'll hear it now.
This is the add-on bit, which I'm going to stick in because I did mention it. Also, it's a weird thing. I'm suddenly thinking, like, Andy and I could be VTubers. We'd be awesome, wouldn't we, Andy? We'd be amazing. Like, I don't know what our characters would be, but we'd be cool. I'd be... Oh, God, anime leprechaun. Anyway. So, email we had come into the Moonbase 2 email address. Hey, Andy and Mikey, really enjoyed the last few episodes. No real feedback per se, but we'll say loving the 40k Gundam kits talk you've both gotten more or back into. After doing Transformers customs for a few years, I've also recently fallen into messing around with models and minis myself during all this social distancing downtime. Currently prepping some stuff for a future D&D campaign with friends where I've managed to hide a bunch of Transformer color schemes and references al SSS Gridman, a couple of subtle nods to Pretender shells, some less subtle nods to Beast Wards, like a gnome with a dented silver helmet, buck teeth, and a dead rat's head stuck to his chest. Oh, not bad. I'm really enjoying getting into Gundam kits, and I know Andy is loving his 40k. he certainly talks about it on other podcasts enough, like the Fluff and Hammer, which you should all check out. But yeah, the Gundam kits are something I've avoided for so many years, and I'm getting into it now. And I'm just like, oh, I'm so behind. So it's nice. I've got my HLJ order. I didn't mention it before. It has been shipped, which has 3 cheap kits, but 3 I really, really want. So I'm really looking forward to them when I get it in about like half a year's time. But no, it's really fun, and I do have a few customization projects in mind for a few different things that are going to kind of be dry runs, like straight repaints, pretty simple repaints, but we're going to see how they go. Like, it's going to be ages before I actually sit down and do them, but we'll see how they go. But yeah, no, it's been really, really fun. And if you want to send us in some pics of some of your mad customs, we'll throw them up into Twitter or something like that. He sent a picture along with this as well, to do with something else, because there is another half of this email involving something. As I said, I plan on embarrassing someone horrendously about this, but I plan to milk this for all it's worth at some point, but I won't read the second half until the event in question. But I will remember this, and then we'll see, won't we? Won't we? Won't we? But yeah, thank you so much for the feedback and other things, but thank you for the feedback, and yeah, keep being awesome. Like, seriously, everyone who takes the time to contact us, everyone who takes the time to send in an email or a Facebook message in Libsyn or anything, whatever it's about. Transformers, Gundam, furry porn, which we've had more than I think any other Transformers podcast. But it's just lovely to hear from people and lovely to communicate and have a bit of a back and forth. I would like to see the statistics of why we specifically get the furry porn, but we don't get sent furry porn. We just have people talking about furry porn, which I've never really had a full discussion face-to-face with someone on that. Not really sure I want to, but, you know. Anyway, rambling. Back to the end of the show! Oh!
Otherwise, Mikey, where can people find you on the internet if you want them to?
You can find me on Twitter as Irish Paleo, and you can, if you want to look at my YouTube, you can go there. I haven't done a video in a long time, but I have something in mind I might throw up there at some point.
Is it
and
porn?
Also, there's...
Is it porn?
It's always porn.
Good.
There's also the Fossil Fic podcast, which I should have the new episode out in the next day or so, which is going to be on Age of Reptiles. Yeah, and of course, if you want to send us any feedback, please use Libsyn, Twitter, Facebook, the moonbase2@gmail.com, anywhere you can, guys.
Yes. You can find me on Twitter, CCTFW, on YouTube as Cobra Commander TFW. You can find this podcast on the Moonbase 2 forums or on Twitter, iTunes, Facebook, Libsyn, YouTube as Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast. Contact us in lots of other ways that Mikey said. You can also head over to patreon.com/Moonbase2, do $2 each month to get the extended version of From the Files of Teletron 2. You get it a week early. You also get the Moonbase where we talk about non-transformery things in greater detail, and you also get any other special bits that we do early as well. And you can also head over to the ccbunker.weebly.com if you want to get that stuff that way as well. So, until next week, everybody, thank you for listening to the podcast. Thanks for the support as ever, and we will catch you next time.